everybody? Welcome back to Cameron Sports Podcast. I'm your host here, Cameron Lindsay, back with another episode. As I told y'all last episode, I'll have a special guest here. Of course, you remember my dad, Michael Gaven, and I got a new guest for y'all, our cousin Ant. You introduce yourself to the people.
Who that nation?
You got it. He's a Saints fan for those you know. He's wearing a hoodie on. But I definitely appreciate you being, like I said, a part of our podcast. I ain't real huge yet, but either way, I still appreciate it.
No problem. Anything to help out the family. Make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm almost to 200 subscribers. A little short-term goal of mine. One day to be at 1 million. So we'll see how that goes. But I definitely appreciate both of y'all being here again. Now, today's episode, we're going to talk about college football New Year's Six bowl games that start this week. You got the Peach Bowl, you got the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, you got the Orange Bowl, Verbo Fiesta Bowl, Rose Bowl, semifinal, and the Sugar Bowl semifinal games. We're going to talk about that, but also, first off, we're going to start about our opinion about the 2023 season, of anything that shocked us or like what we thought of the results leading up to the New Year's Six bowl games and the college football playoff. So, but yeah, let's get into it. So, and now, my thoughts about the 2023 season. Of course, shocked me knowing that Oklahoma and Texas will be joining the SEC, and UCLA, USC also joining the Big Ten, and also led to Oregon, and that pretty much led to the Pac-12 just no longer being a conference at all. I didn't think it would just disband just like that. I would have thought, especially a conference like that, Conference of Champions, I like the Pac-12 conference as a whole, really, especially as football-wise,
Right.
So, but I'm shocked to see it go. What do you think of that? Do you like the college football realignment into 2024, or do you don't like it?
My take on it, it's I guess it's okay, but like I said, conference like the Pac-12, like for it to be dismantled like that is.
Do you think they should keep the Pac-12, or do you think teams should? Because that's gonna be a lot of traveling too. Also, USC playing somebody like Illinois, that's all the way flying all the way to California, all the way to this side of the country.
Well, with most of the teams leaving out of Pac-12, how many is going to be left? So is there going to be a Pac-12?
The only two teams that's left are Oregon State and Washington, but they won't be in there either because the conference will be gone. It's not enough teams. So those two teams we're playing, I think they'll be playing like 6 Mountain West teams. They won't be in the Mountain West Conference. They'll be playing 6 Mountain West teams, 5 Power 5 schools, Power 4 schools, and a couple of 2 FCS. Yeah, so that's what it says. So 6 teams for the Mountain West Conference, 5 Power 4 schools, and 2 FCS, Division 2 schools.
I just think with this year, the only time will tell that we'll see how this alignment would go, and maybe they don't completely get rid of the Pac-12. Maybe they'll start looking at, okay, we might be able to add this team to the Pac-12 to bring the Pac-12 back up.
I would have thought that, but for them before the season started, for teams to leave their conference, because some schools are under contract for to 2027 or 2030. So for Florida State, they want to try to leave the ACC, but that costs over $500 million just to leave the ACC. So some schools ain't gonna want to pay that fee just to join the Pac-12, and Pac-12 can get fined for that. So that's why I think it's pretty much over. I don't think nobody's gonna join. Oregon State and Washington State going to be independent for a year until they figure out what conference they gonna join.
Well, it's overall it's a money thing,
Yeah, because of TV deals, I think, because Big Ten and the SEC have gotten more new TV deals, and pretty much all about money.
You just gotta see. They did all this change. Gotta see. Oklahoma, Texas,
in the SEC.
They better bring their A.
I think Texas will, because Quinn Ewers is coming back, so they'll have a quarterback. They got a real good recruiting class. They got people like Colin Simmons, or a freshman out of Duncanville in Texas. So they got a really great recruiting class, and they got Quinn Ewers coming back
We'll see.
next year. So plus they beat Bama at Bama, so I think they're SEC ready. So they'll be ready for it.
That's what I say on paper.
Now Oklahoma, I can't say them because Dylan Gabriel transferred. They got a lot of players left there, so they got a hard schedule. They got a Oklahoma got a very bad. I looked at their schedule.
They better bring it, or
they gotta play Bama. They gotta play Bama next year too, also.
Yeah, because the SEC is some dog.
I think Texas will be fine. They'll be able to compete for the SEC championship next year.
Shoot, we gotta see what they
Even
do.
though they gotta play Georgia, but Georgia's
schedule
schedule's pretty hard too.
now. In the playoffs, they gotta show up.
I do think Texas will have a better run than Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think because especially think about the past 2 years, Texas has played Bama. They lost by 3 with a backup quarterback. Quinn Ewers got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it was questioned they should have won that game because was it a safety? Did Bryce Young get sacked in the end zone? Was that a safety? So technically, they probably should have won that game the last year, and they beat them this year convincingly at Alabama.
Yeah.
So I think they'll pretty much be fine. If you could beat Bama at Bama and compete with them like back-to-back years with the same quarterback, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, they got the regular season.
They may be losing A.D. Mitchell, but they'll still have Worthy, I think. But yeah, they like I said, Steve Sarkisian can really recruit.
Yeah, I think they still gonna be able to
Very
compete.
They got one more to prove to me. They beat the regular season game. You beat Bama in the regular season in Bama. You got to prove to me now. You're in the playoff, y'all. Talk about y'all.
I mean, they're
y'all
playing
here.
Washington, so
show up. If you can't show up,
I mean, I'll say that during the off season, I was like, I'm not gonna jump on the Texas bandwagon. Like, cause some people say Texas is back until I see them like get to win the Big 12, beat Bama, get to the playoff, and they did that. So I can finally say I think they are back finally because of that. So they finally won the Big 12 since 2009. They finally in the playoff for the first time, and they beat Bama at Bama. So
I don't know. I'm waiting to see which one of these teams gonna make me think like Georgia should have took y'all spot. One of these teams gonna make me say that.
I don't want to say. When the final rankings came out, I was saying if Bama's in, long as Texas is in, if Bama's in, long as Texas, I'm fine with it.
Why? Why Georgia couldn't have been in the spot with Texas?
Because if you put Bama in and not Texas, Texas beat Bama head to head on the road. Not even no neutral site. Not at Texas, on the road. They beat them straight up.
Okay.
Straight up.
They don't prove that.
And all season during the rankings, Texas was ranked ahead of Bama. After that game, it was ranked ahead of them all season. You can't just we're gonna have Texas ranked over Bama the whole season, but as soon as the SEC championship game comes, and Texas won their conference too. Now it'd be different if Texas didn't win the Big 12. They had, last year with TCU, when TCU got in, even though they lost, I think they still deserved to get in. But even though TCU didn't win the Big 12, they got in because they was undefeated all year. And they lost against a Kansas team that was ranked in the top 25. Now that would be different. But Texas.
Well, okay, all right, I can see now. I just feel Georgia need to be in. Cause you talk about, and they said this on, First Take Sports Center. You talk about the best teams in the world. Georgia lost to Bama, but they still is one of the best 4 teams in the world. Okay, you say you keep Texas in, Bama. Of course, Michigan, in there. And I gotta take Washington out. They got Texas and
I can't agree with that because Washington does got the best as far as resume wise. Washington got the best.
Yeah,
Pac-12, even though this is the last year of the Pac-12, the Pac-12 is by far the best. Even though we know overall the SEC is the best conference, but this season the Pac-12 was the best conference by far. They had the most teams ranked in the top 25. That conference was loaded. Even though Colorado didn't really, they had a better season last year. They only won 1 game. They won 4 this year.
Well,
overall, Florida State got shafted. Florida State should have been in the Final Four. I don't care. Just listen to me. I don't care if they lost their quarterback. Their quarterback got them there. You undefeated, and you mean to tell me that you're not going to be one of the top teams in the college playoff? That's just like okay. You say NFL. Okay, Patrick Mahomes go down, are they gonna not put if they undefeated? Are they not gonna put them at the top 10?
It's funny you said it because there was some on social media I saw it.
Think about it.
What would the NFL playoff look like? It was a 14 format. I mean, well, if it was like that, I know of course Baltimore, San Francisco, all of that.
I'll take it back even farther.
Okay,
I'll take it back even further.
Take a live one.
I'll take it back even
Take
further.
the last year when Garoppolo went down and fucking Brock Purdy came up, in the playoff. As the quarterback went down and all that.
And I'm gonna take it back even further in the college playoffs. Did they do that to Ohio State when they started quarterback? Got hurt. They had a backup come in by the name of Cordell Jones, and excelled.
You're right.
But you can't. Okay, Florida State they played a mediocre game in the ACC championship, but you cannot say okay.
Yeah, they had J.K. Daniels.
You cannot base it off that. This is my opinion. I don't care what nobody say. That's my opinion. Florida State should have been one of the top 4 teams in the championship thing.
It's so confused. I agree with you. It's just crazy how it is, and it's just crazy because yes, they undefeated. They beat. They did everything that you said they supposed to do. Go out there and play football, win games. They done it. Y'all the one created their schedule. Like the strength of their schedule should have been better. I don't know, but they won. You gotta give them credit due. Nah, I give it that. But on the other hand, I'm watching TV. I don't want to see nobody get belt the ass with a backup quarterback. Like that's what they looking at.
Now,
like TCU.
I'm glad you brought that Ohio State example up. I had, like I said, one of my previous episodes, I talked about that. How people brought that example up. Now, you gotta understand something. I get that, 'cause that was the first year of the playoff. That 2014-15, you gotta give the committee a break then. That was the first year of that. Ohio State made it, Oregon, Bama, and Florida State. Florida State was reigning, defending national champions that year, previous year beating Auburn. And James Winston was quarterback. So, that Ohio State team was loaded.
Okay.
Loaded.
JT Barrett one.
JT Barrett was off the starter. He got hurt. You had Ezekiel Elliott who ran for 200 yards against Bama. Bama, nobody that whole season did that to Bama's defense. He did against Oregon also. 200 yards back to back. Matter of fact, they won the Big Ten championship. I think they blew. I forgot who they played. They blew them out. So and then they had Denzel Ward, all-pro corner in the NFL. He was a backup on that team. He wasn't even a starter. He was a backup. He was a backup. Marshall Lattimore, Denzel Ward were backups.
So
They were back. That's how Joey Bosa was on that team. You also had who's buddy from the Saints? I know Michael Thomas is on that team, so they was loaded.
Lattimore.
They had multiple first-round picks on that Ohio State team. Florida State, they got 2 players I guarantee that's going to be first-round picks in next year's draft. That's Keon Coleman and that's Jared Verse. That's 2 players. They will get good, but they're not loaded.
Okay.
They're not loaded. So comparing that Ohio State team to the FSU team, completely different. That Ohio State team was loaded. They had, like I said, Denzel Ward, Marshall Lattimore, they're both one of the best corners in the league, and they were backups on that Ohio State team. They weren't even starters.
Still, Florida State was undefeated.
And I get that. But
you cannot take that away from them. I just don't agree.
But the thing is, when deciding the best team, you got to include the quarterback. Like when they beat, Brian Kelly kind of said something in the interview. They lost the Florida State team with that quarterback, with Jordan Travis, who was our Heisman Trophy finalist. Really good quarterback. But that team's completely different. But like you said, Ohio State made it with Cardell Jones. He balled out against in the Big Ten championship game. He played well against Bama, even though Ezekiel Elliott running over 200 yards against Bama, 200 yards against Ohio State. Having Michael Thomas. Florida State, watching that, they played North Alabama. So the quarterback looked good. They played against, I don't even know where North Alabama was at. Somewhere, I don't know what city, I don't know. But they played Florida too. Florida up and down. I seen Florida play week 1 at Utah. They didn't even look like they wanted to be there. They looked like they forgot how to play football. Florida been inconsistent all year, and they struggled against them.
Tell you the truth, all of this really ain't rocket science. It just, me, I'm an SEC fan, and see, I'm
It's
gonna
who
say
can
that.
bring in the money. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna say this. Tell you the truth, on paper, we know what team's supposed to be in there. We know. And they making it confused. Yes, I'm an SEC, I'm an LSU fan, and I'm gonna say this, like, you know what team supposed to be in there? Michigan. You know they supposed to be number one. They supposed to be in there. Washington, undefeated, supposed to be in there. Florida State, undefeated, supposed to be in there. Texas beat Bama. Bama beat Georgia. So that means the top 4 teams in Michigan,
No, you take.
Washington, Florida State, and Texas. That's who's supposed to really be in there. But the world, the people, the betting people, all of that, they don't want to play off without an SEC team in there. That's the confusion. They didn't want to do this playoff and not have an SEC team because they know it's very big. But technically on paper, that's how it's supposed to be.
Like I said, even the SEC wasn't the best conference this year. It was the Pac-12 by far. And I know you said Washington, technically you would take Washington out.
I said no.
Or
I said on paper that's how it's
you know
supposed
what I'm
to be.
saying? A little earlier you said something about if you was to put Georgia in, you would take Washington out.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what.
I had to disagree because Michael Penny Jr. bought up.
I know,
Like I said, Washington did have the best resume. They beat Oregon twice. Oregon's a top 10 team. They had the best on paper. They had statistically the best scoring offense.
Okay, well
The
tell
best
me a
defense.
team that they play is a dog.
Who,
And
Washington?
the SEC is a dog. So when you go into the playoff, you're gonna play some dog. Tell me a team that they play. Don't get me wrong, I like Pettis, he baby Lamar. Tell me a team that they play that's some dog.
I just told you Oregon. They beat them twice. Literally twice.
Bo Nets in Oregon. No
Twice.
disrespect.
To
No
Oregon had
disrespect
to
to Oregon, but they ain't no dogs like the SEC.
I don't know. I think I like Oregon chances in the Big Ten next year.
Can Oregon beat Bama?
Yeah. I think I give them a good shot.
Hell no. Can they beat Ole Miss?
Yes.
Can they beat LSU? No.
LSU defense was bad this year. Bad.
No, they can't.
Jaden Daniels deserved to have their defense, so I think Oregon can definitely beat LSU.
All they got is offense.
No, actually, statistically, their defense was better than Washington's. Well, a lot better than Washington's. But I get it. Technically, Florida State should be in, but watching, I was like, okay. When that SEC championship game came on, I watched it. Heard the backup quarterback who came in for Jordan Travis, he was out due to concussions. So they had a freshman, third-string freshman in. He was bad. He was bad. And then, like you said, Ohio State team, they got some good running backs, but none of the running backs are Ezekiel Elliott. None of them are going to be Ezekiel Elliott. They got some good receivers in Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, who's 6'7". Keon Coleman's going to be a first-round pick. That's it. But if you got them receivers, but your quarterback is that's like I'm trying to think of his name. That's like with the Bengals, Jake Browning. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Look what the Bengals look like without Joe Burrow when they played against the Steelers that game.
Well,
Boo.
You just got to get in there and play. Like,
He'll back up.
but
Do your job.
He went undrafted for a reason. There was a reason he went on.
all I'm saying is Florida State should have been a top 14. Regardless if they get, if they would have made it, they get in there and get blasted.
I ain't gonna lie, if I was a player on that team, I would feel like that's a participation trophy. Honestly, heart, we sit here and say there's no chance they beat. Let's say, let's take out Bama. There's no way Florida State is going to beat Michigan. That game going to be over by the first quarter. There's no way they beat Washington. This game going to be over in the first quarter. Especially Texas. There's no way they
Okay. Understood.
Really, they should have lost to Louisville. I guarantee you. If Louisville had anybody else at quarterback, if they had Lamar Jackson, if they had...
And they struggled that game.
Jake Plummer, he played like a plumber. He was that bad. Louisville's defense played well. If they had anybody, if Lamar was at quarterback, if they had Jordan Travis or Jaden Daniels from LSU, I guarantee you Louisville would have beaten Florida State badly.
Let me tell you, if Alabama was in the same situation, that Florida State was undefeated, they would be in it.
But then you know,
And look at
But Bama do got the talent though. They got the
talent and the resume.
Florida State don't, like I said, Florida State got 2 players.
Bama got what America want. They bring in the money. It's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah.
If we get Alabama in this, the money's gonna come in. For some odd reason, it seems like Alabama has to be in the top 4 every year.
Hey, Nick Saban.
And I'm gonna say this.
That's all you
I'm gonna say this.
Anything you think they're gonna leave Nick Saban out of any playoff?
If Alabama was number 1,
Y'all heard me.
if Georgia came in and played them in the SEC championship game, Alabama would still be in the playoff. They wouldn't have dropped them no further than number 4.
Listen to me, people. Alabama was an 8 seed, and they in the playoff. Nick Saban. They ain't gonna leave Nick Saban out of the playoff.
All right, think about this though. But that win was really big. They beat the back-to-back national champions, who was on a 20-some game winning streak. Georgia undefeated. The only teams that really like competed like that against Georgia all year was Missouri and Bama.
Okay, and I can say this: it was a close game. They didn't win by what was it, 3 points?
But that was still the number 1 team.
Okay, understood. Now, you wouldn't heard it. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now if Alabama would have went in there and blew Georgia out. I was like, okay, they deserve it. They only beat them by 3, and you gonna drop. Honestly, if you want to make a real statement about it, Georgia and Florida State really could be in there. My honest opinion, Florida State could have been number 3, and Georgia could have been number 4. They were number 1 team. They shouldn't have dropped no further than number 4, being the number 1 team.
We just got hang it up.
And look at Florida State.
They wouldn't have made it.
But I understood. But they undefeated. You got Michigan. Well, they didn't lose a quarterback, but at the same time, you gotta give them that, man. They
life ain't fair, man.
But it's all money. When it boils down to money and politics, that's why it's set up the way it is.
I understand. Like when I was watching, I said some fan base is going to be upset regardless. Now next year we won't have this problem because it goes to 12 teams. I think 12 teams is enough. Is right. It's even give non-power 4 schools like a really good team like Tulane to compete for a national championship. So there should be no complaints about we should be in 12 teams. That's enough, really.
I think that it would be fair.
And plus, the schools will have a chance to host a playoff game. So,
I like it. I'm ready for it.
I'm excited about that. So, we shouldn't have this problem. But
we're going to get it down every year.
I understand. Florida State, maybe.
Now, Florida State going to make that 12-team playoff?
Well, if they get, right now, they're trying to get a quarterback in the transfer portal. If they get somebody like a Cam Ward or maybe a DJ Ugangale from Oregon State. Cam Ward is transfer from Washington State. If they get one of them 2 quarterbacks, I think they could compete, especially Cam Ward. I like I said, dual threat. They throw the ball, run. So I feel like if they can get him, they can compete because they got a pretty good recruiting class coming in. They got some players still there. So I think Florida, they can compete as long as, like I said, because automatically if you win your conference, you're automatically in the playoffs.
Right.
So
I don't know.
possibly.
My whole thing about these playoffs. It's 2 words. Show up. And that 2 words, show up.
Show up.
Show up.
As you say, if Florida State would have been in, guess what? People would have been saying, see, you should put Bama in. Florida State's not better. They're not.
I get it. They earned the right to be there. Undefeated.
You see how TCU was against Georgia in that national championship game?
TCU, they earned the right to be there.
But TCU actually had a good team. They had, as you said, Max Duggan, Heisman Trophy finalist. They had Quentin Johnston. They had like 2 players drafted in the first round. They had a pretty good team. So on both, and it was pretty good on both sides of the ball. So they had like Jordan Travis was the Heisman Trophy finalist.
Yeah.
Max Duggan was last year.
Right.
He didn't get hurt. TCU was undefeated all year. They lost to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship game. Like I said, now I still think they deserve to get in. They beat Michigan, the same Michigan team. They got a J.J. McCarthy, who's most likely, I think he's coming. He's going to be a first-round pick in the 2025 draft. Michigan, and they got Blake Corum, who's going to be a high draft pick, at least second round, one of the best running backs in the nation. They got the best offensive line in the nation that won the, I forgot the name of the award, for best. They won the award back to back for best O-line in the country.
Yep.
So they beat that same Michigan team that's in the playoff right now. Most of them players are back right now.
Michigan,
so I think,
dog.
but we're having the TCU national championship game. I think that's going to happen. That'll be worse for Florida State. Like that's why I said, if I was a player, like that'll be a participation where like they're just there, like okay, here we just reward you just for being undefeated. You're not technically one of the best 14s because they gonna get blown. People gonna go playing. They gonna be like, what is this? They gonna get blown off the field, literally blown out. They're embarrassed. Like that ACC championship game was so bad. I was like, what is this? It was real bad, and like that third string quarterback, it's so bad that they're looking for a quarterback in the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad he was.
Okay.
And I think the backup quarterback transfer, he entered the transfer portal, so he's gone. And you know, speaking of Florida State, we're gonna talk when we make our prediction. We're gonna talk about the Orange Bowl because they got so many players skipping out on that game. But I just don't think, like I said, it's messed up. Don't get me wrong. And I did completely disagree with you, but I think
Money and politics.
I think the playoff committee did the best they could. Like I said, even though it wasn't a blowout, Bama still beat Georgia. That's a number one team in the nation. They got the number one recruiting class again this year.
So you jump up 4 spots. Nick Saban. Just saying. Okay. Any other team in the league, D1, would be number 8 seed and beat Georgia number 1. You think they would have been number 4?
Nope.
Honest answer.
Probably no. Like
No. No, it's absolutely not.
What's your answer?
If it was my rankings, I'd take them still have Georgia in. I would have Georgia and Texas in. Them two, I would probably have Bama.
I'm not saying that the bash Nick Saban. The man is just a GOAT. Greatest of all
Okay.
time.
Honestly, it could have been Florida State or Georgia, but if you take Florida State out of the equation and Georgia dropped to number 4, without putting Florida State in there, it should be Alabama and Florida State playing in what bowl is
The Orange Bowl?
the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, Bama should have been 5 seed.
I like I said, but I think the many did the best they could because they took straight to schedule all that. Like you line up Texas, Bama, and Florida State, they both got better.
And
the schedule because
Alabama don't have a big schedule like
the ACC was really bad. Even Clemson. I mean, even though Clemson they ended the year off good, but they were as far as Clemson standards, they weren't that good. And Texas, you know, their only loss was against a pretty decent good Oklahoma team. They beat an Oklahoma State team that was just ranked in the top 25
right.
with one of the best running backs in the nation, Ollie Gordon, who's you know one of the he was like one of the dark horse for the Heisman, but they beat them convincingly. So I think that's why Texas, there's no question. They beat Oklahoma State convincingly in that Big 12 championship game. Quentin Ewers played very, very well. They like said, and then like what the Big 10 championship, Michigan just blew Iowa off the field.
Yeah, straight dominate defense.
They didn't even score a point. So and then the ACC championship, like that same Louisville team lost to Kentucky at home. Like I said, if Louisville had anybody else at quarterback, anybody from like I said, I'm not even gonna bring up Lamar again. Let's talk about quarterbacks that play now. Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy, Jalen Milroe, they would have beaten Florida State. I seen that game. Louisville had plenty of chances. Jake Plummer, his last name was Plummer. He played like a plumber. I would be surprised if he gets the NFL job next year. Yeah. That's how bad it was. But
we shall see.
Like I said, you know, overall, in my opinion, I think Florida State shocked me. I didn't see them playing this well in the majority of the season. Even though they started off high, that game against LSU, they dominated LSU. So I give that to them. You know, the year before that, the game was, I thought it was gonna be close because the game was close in New Orleans. but they blew them out. And I originally had picked Clemson to win the ACC because they did. They had Kate Klubnik, Dabo Swinney, who's arguably one of the best, three of the best. Dabo, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, in my opinion, the three best.
After the first game, Clemson lost to Duke. I knew they weren't gonna win the ACC.
Yeah,
I knew what kind of season it was gonna be for them.
I thought. I mean, like, even though they are ranking top 25 now, but. And I ain't gonna lie, after that game, I was like, yeah, I might have to change my opinion.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't see Duke being that pretty good at. Duke had a real good season this year. Even though they did lose their coach, who left to Texas A&M. But they had a really good season. I didn't see that coming. As soon as that game, I was like, oh yeah. Then I think Clemson lost to Syracuse, and I was like, oh yeah. There was a point where they was like 4-4. They was outside of the top 25. I was like, and people were questioning Dabo, like, I don't know. Maybe next year they could be better, but I just don't see the Clemson being, because they don't got the same recruiting class as they did in the past.
Different recruiting.
Dabo doesn't like to dabble in the transfer portal. Like, even though I think the transfer portal is very useful. If you want to get back to competing for national championships, you might have to start recruiting the transfer portal also. So, but. Yeah, like I said, Florida State. Now, I had picked Florida State and Clemson to play each other in the ACC championship game, but after that Duke game, I was like, but then I thought North Carolina would make it because they got Drake May, who's going to be a top 3 pick in the 2024 draft. I thought it, but North Carolina's defense is not really good, so But I really didn't see that from Louisville because they got a first-year head coach. I didn't see that for them at all.
Right.
I was pretty shocked. And I thought they would have a chance in the college football playoff, but they lost to a terrible Pitt team on the road, and they lost to Kentucky at home.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh,
that went their chance.
That went their chances." But that surprised me. The end of the Pac-12. Who else pretty surprised me? Trying to think, but I mean, well, not too much surprised me. That one thought. Like I said, a lot of teams I know. Or USC. Oh yeah. UFC being struggling the way they did.
They just had a bad defense.
I thought the defense will maybe be better. I thought Caleb Williams would be a high Detroit finalist again. I didn't think he would probably win it because it's hard to win back.
He still had a decent season.
Next year.
He still had a decent season, but
LSU does play USC. Yeah.
Their defense just wasn't that good. So I mean,
that kind of.
And he still be a high pick for the draft.
I feel like Lincoln Riley learned his lesson at Oklahoma. You gotta get a defense. You can't keep outscoring.
I ain't that grammar in the SEC.
So that's why I feel like I think USC is going to struggle in the Big Ten, unless even if he gets a quarterback, because you got a Big Ten. And there's no more divisions either in the Big Ten. It's the top like the SEC. Is the top 2 teams in the conference qualify for the championship game.
Yeah.
So in the Big Ten, you have Michigan, you have Ohio State, Penn State. Even though they're not as good as Michigan, Ohio State, they're still pretty relevant because they're in the New Year's Six bowl game against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And Nebraska's going to be better because they got Matt Rule. Everywhere Matt Rule goes, even though he didn't make it as an NFL coach, he's still a really good college coach because when he was at Temple, he turned around Temple. When he was at Baylor, he turned around Baylor. And like I said, he ended up in a bowl game with Nebraska his first year, and Nebraska got a pretty good recruiting class. They got Dylan Raiola, the number 2 quarterback, in the 2024 class to flip from Georgia to Nebraska. So I think Nebraska I don't know about winning the Big Ten. They won't go that far, but
they might play some close games. So
and then of course you got Oregon and Washington joining the Big Ten. So it's gonna be. I don't know where they may. I don't even know they're gonna be better than Rutgers. I was watching the bowl game a little earlier. Rutgers looks pretty straight, so I don't know how.
It's gonna be next season's gonna be pretty interesting. It's gonna be a pretty interesting season. With the line and everything, it's gonna be, and all the transfer portals, it's gonna be pretty interesting.
I don't know. My eyes on Texas in the playoff. They better show up.
If
they don't show up in the playoff.
I think they. I ain't go. I'm gonna say because we about to make our predictions in a minute. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think they'll play better because they did play this same Washington team last year in the Alamo Bowl. So they got film on Michael Penix because they played this same team last year in the Alamo Bowl. Mm-hmm. So I think Texas will be better. I think it's gonna be a good game regardless. But yeah,
I like the matchup with Texas and Washington. I like that matchup.
They better show up now.
Like I said,
You know, don't burn your butt to the SEC. You can't show up. You can't show up and play Washington.
I don't know. I think after they beat Bama, they were saying, like I said, they was ready for the SEC. So that's how I think. Now Oklahoma, you need to be saying that to Oklahoma because they lost their quarterback Dylan Gabriel to the transfer portal. He transferred to Oregon. That's why I say I like Oregon, especially for next year because they're gonna have another great transfer quarterback coming in after Bo Nix. Because Bo Nix gonna be a first round pick.
Oklahoma can get me some scrub meat, you know, scrub bait. But Texas, they coming in talking big talk. Oklahoma ain't coming in talking big talk. They just coming. You know, Texas coming in talking that big talk. So
it's gonna be pretty sure.
I don't think Oklahoma.
I think Texas does play Michigan week 2, so that game's gonna be interesting next year.
That's why my eyes on Texas. They better show up. Or down, cancel your flight to the SEC.
Hey, I ain't gonna go that far, but it's pretty good though. But yeah, let's definitely try to make our New Year's 6 bowl predictions. Talk about what should these 6 games, including the playoff that we look forward to. I pretty much already know your answer to which of these games you look forward to. So, but yeah, let's get into it. So first up, we got the Goodyear Cotton Bowl between number 9 ranked Missouri 10-2 versus number 7 Ohio State 11-1. Like I said, I did forget. Missouri did surprise me this year. I did not see this from Missouri. Cause last year they was kind of, but like what average? They like I said, they recruited in the transfer portal. If Georgia wasn't as good as they were, I think Missouri would have played Bama in the SEC championship game. Now next year, I think because they played Georgia back to back, even 2 years ago they almost beat Georgia. Literally took a few seconds for Georgia to survive and come back and beat Missouri on the road. I think next year, I like Missouri's chances to upset Georgia at home because Georgia's schedule is really tough. They got to play Texas, they got to play Bama. So, I don't know if Georgia plays Missouri next year, but if they do, it's going to be real tough.
Yeah, they're going to have a tough schedule next year.
But yeah, Missouri 10-2. Like I said, they had a very, very good season, and I think they definitely deserve this New Year's 6 bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, they had a very good season, even though news, for those of you who don't know, Kyle McCord, the starting quarterback, transferred to Syracuse, so he won't be playing. I don't think, of course, Marvin Harrison Jr. has been with the team, but he has been practicing, and he's going to be a top 5 pick. Probably should be the number overall pick because he arguably maybe the best player in this draft besides Caleb Williams. You can argue those two. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best receiver in the country. I don't think he's going to play, like I said, a couple of Ohio State players have already optioned out of this bowl game. So I'm going with Missouri because I think Missouri wants to be there. It's a New Year's 6 bowl game, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. It's a very historic bowl game. So, it's important to them. Ohio State not to them because they failed to beat their rival Michigan. They failed to reach the college football playoff again, or they did. They failed to reach the college football playoff and failed to beat Michigan again. So I don't think Ohio State's gonna take it that serious. I think Missouri's gonna be more ready to play.
I'm gonna take Missouri also. I'm gonna say 27-17 over Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with the SEC, Missouri. All the players out for Ohio State,
And plus, like I said, Kyle McCord, I think they're gonna have a freshman or redshirt.
I take Missouri by a slight edge. Only if they can stop, Missouri.
They stop Travion Henderson and
stop the passing game. Because
Ohio State like the pass. I mean, they do got a couple good freshman receivers on that team, but
who is that?
I think they got Tate, freshman at IMG. I don't know if Ibuka, he possibly could be a first round pick also, Emeka Ibuka. But I don't know if he's going to play at all yet. So that's what I'm saying. They got a lot of players optioned out. They had Kyle McCord enter the transfer portal and commit to Syracuse. So
also, Missouri does have a back named Schrader that is outstanding.
Led the SEC in rushing.
If Ohio State can't stop him, it's going to be a long day for him. So I'm gonna take Missouri.
So yeah, I'll pick Missouri. I'll probably go Missouri like 38-17.
Okay.
Or 36 because I just don't think Ohio State's going to be really in it. But next up we got the Peach Bowl between number 11 Ole Miss 10-2 versus number 10 Penn State 10-2. This will be a December 30th game at 12 p.m. in Atlanta, Georgia. Like I said, now Ole Miss, like I said, definitely a real good team. They, I like their quarterback Jackson Dart, like Lane Kiffin. They already been recruiting pretty well in the transfer portal. Like I said, I think especially I really like the chances next year. Ole Miss got a very favorable schedule. They got Georgia at home, so I think they do play Florida on the road, but I think they could possibly make the playoff next year.
I think they will make it.
They don't, and they don't play Bama next year, so that Bama has had their number a couple of years, so they don't play Bama, so that's a little luck for them right there. So I like Ole Miss. I like they had a real pretty good season. They probably could have made it if they didn't play Bama. Like I said, it could have been Ole Miss and Missouri in the SEC championship game instead of Bama and Georgia every year. So
I'm gonna take Ole Miss in this game. I feel like Ole Miss, if their defense can step up just a little bit. I'm really not in favor of Penn State's offense. Watching them play is kind of sometimey. So if Ole Miss can play a little defense, I'm not worried about the Ole Miss offense. I know they can score. Their defense can play a little bit.
I feel like, like I said, because I watched Penn State, especially because West Virginia played in week 1. Drew Allen is a good, decent quarterback. I just don't completely trust him. James Franklin is a very good coach.
Yeah.
But part of me kind of feel like maybe should they make some changes because Penn State has yet to beat Ohio State and Michigan.
Right.
Yeah. Last year they beat Utah in the Rose Bowl. So around this time they do play well. You got a good team. They can play. So I hope Ole Miss don't think they can just gonna roll over Penn State.
Yeah, I don't think they're looking at it like that. Like I said, if their defense can play decent, then their chances are real good.
But like I said, I'll go Ole Miss. This one probably like maybe like a 30-24 type of game. I'll say like that 30, 24, 27.
I can see that.
So I would go Ole Miss over Penn State.
I got Ole Miss. The reason being, the Ole Miss take risks. They go for it on fourth down. And they get it majority of the time. Probably about 8 out of 10 times, they go for it. Kiffin go for it on 4th down all the time.
He shouldn't too much. Don't be like Brandon Staley.
But it pays off. Ole Miss and Dart, when he get going and running, he just out there like Mariota. You know what I'm saying? He out there.
Yeah.
Ole Miss.
And I think he may be coming back next year. If he does, that's definitely hope Ole Miss chances of making a playoff next year.
Don't let number 4 on the defense linebacker Perkins, Raleigh, Mississippi. Don't let him get started. He started second quarterback. That's definitely done.
I think
number 4. Look him up.
Freshman.
I think that'd be a pretty good game. Like I said, we went to the Peach Bowl a couple years ago with Pitt and Michigan State, but a couple of key players optioned out of that game. But
Right.
I think it should be a good game. Wish we can go, but like I said, we're all picking Ole Miss.
Yeah, they're right with the home team. Go Perk.
Next up, we got this game. We both kind of got some questions. Well, I got some questions about the Orange Bowl between 6 Georgia 12-1 versus number 5 Florida State 13-0.
Georgia.
This is December 30th, 4:00. Now, this one.
I'm picking Georgia.
Yeah, I ain't know you actually Georgia finna bring belt.
I guess I'll go ahead and say Georgia too. I'll say this, but Florida State can't even make it more easier than that. I mean, even if their players didn't option out, Keon Coleman is option out, Jared Verse, Johnny Wilson, a lot of their players, really 40 players combined in this game have optioned out. Brock Bowers.
Yeah, they were going option out now.
Brock Bowers option out for Georgia. I know Carson Baker's coming back next year for his senior year, so Georgia has had a couple players transfer. They still got a really good recruiting class coming in. Got a number 1 corner, got a number 1 safety, and a number 1 linebacker out of high school coming to Georgia.
And they also getting ETN from Florida.
Trevor Etienne from Florida. So and then plus I think they get another running back who's out for the who had tore his ACL, and before doing fall camp, he'll be back. So
Yep.
Now receiving wise, I think they are getting some receivers now. They don't really, realize in high school they don't really recruit too many receivers. Mostly just maybe one quarterback, and mostly on defense they recruit. But I think regardless, even if Florida State players weren't optioning out, I think it's just gonna be a massacre. I just don't think.
Man, outside or opt in, that belt we're gonna hit that rear end.
Georgia defense is gonna be too much for Florida State offense.
Exactly why.
Even if they had all their players, Georgia was gonna be.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. That even if Florida State had their players, it would now unless Jordan Travis playing, but other than that, they would get blown out regardless. And now watch. I feel like it's not gonna be fair to those players at Florida State because people gonna be like, see, this is what it is. I mean, they got most of their players playing, so
a lot of people don't know that.
They really ain't got no chance at all.
They should. They should. Everybody should freaking play. Prove to why you should have been in the playoff. But now you want to opt out. Now I'm just saying, prove, show people y'all beat Georgia. I'm just saying, but y'all want to opt out. You feel me? They don't want to cry about not getting in. Opt in, everybody play, beat Georgia.
I feel like players who are going to the NFL draft, the Orange Bowl is not. It's not like you're playing in the Pop-Tart Bowl or Music City Bowl. This is a New Year's Six bowl game, and plus it's a chance to put in more. I feel like unless you're like a bona fide first round pick, like a Keon Coleman, Jerry Burris, or Brock Bowers, I could see them because it was like maybe 5 years, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know what's his name, Smith. He was with the Cowboys. I forgot his first name. I think his last name was Smith. I know him. But he was a linebacker at Notre Dame, and they was playing in the Fiesta Bowl against, I forgot who they was playing against, but New Year's Six bowl game. He was gonna be arguably a top 5 pick. Broke his leg, and then went undrafted because of that. I guess a lot of players seen that what happened to him.
Now
he
went undrafted. First round pick. I understand.
I can't agree with
He was bona fide the first round. Jalen Smith. That was his name.
I can agree with players that have some top tier players that have been injured during the season. They or maybe the year before, they get well. I can see them opting out. Okay, I've been injured one time. I know this is a big game, but my chances of making the league are real good. But this is just my opinion. You got a player that's top tier player, been injury free all season. In a top tier game, go ahead and play. Like this for the world to see. Like this is where you really want to shine. Like,
I still gotta put some on your resume, get your butt out and play.
But I say this, like if it's a meaningless game like the Music City Bowl,
maybe
some players option out, and they also want to let the younger players play because they're not gonna be there. They give the coaches a chance to see the younger players they got. All right, let's see what you can do. Now that this player is not playing, but I like I said, now if it's players who are if you're gonna be a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick, play get on tape. Because if you're gonna play, let's say you're a senior, you're gonna play in the Reese's Senior Bowl. That's a meaningless game. That game don't even count. You might as well play in this bowl game. That gives you tape against a whole nother team.
Yep, get your name.
You may can raise your draft stock, and if you play. But now, like I said, now if you're a 1st round pick. I mean, me personally, I probably still will play because if you committed to that school, it's gonna be the last time you put that uniform on for that school. But I ain't mad at every player. But it didn't even really start with Jalen Smith. That was just a really good example of somebody that he was literally going to be a top 5 pick. Linebacker Notre Dame broke his leg in Fiesta Bowl and then went undrafted.
It may get you an invitation to the combine, NFL combine, like you playing that game. May not get you, starting in the NFL, but it may get you to the combine. Then at the combine, you gotta get yourself together and grind for that. Then it's yourself, everything's a little level.
Yeah, now it really started with Jadeveon Clowney optioning out for South Carolina, and then Leonard Fournette, like players like that kind of started it, optioning out of bowl game.
Yeah.
That's when it really started of players really optioning out.
For me, I would not playing a top tier bowl game. I would not option out unless I really. A major I don't know. If I'm back, I'm playing still.
I would at least play like a half or something.
There's no way in the game.
This is a big game. This is like
big game. Yeah, I play.
I want to really show the world what I'm really made of. So I'm gonna play in this big game,
But we just all taking Georgia. I think it's gonna be probably like how they beat TCU. I think it's gonna be a game like that. I just don't see how a third string freshman is going to compete against that defense.
Yeah.
But next up, we got the Verbal Fiesta Bowl. Now this one I think could be a really good one, a sneaky good one. 23 ranked Liberty, 13-0. It was their first year in the conference. USA they won the conference. They were already an FBS team. They were independent, kind of how like Notre Dame is. They joined the conference. USA won undefeated. They're playing number 8 ranked Oregon, went 11-2. They lost in the big Pac-12 championship game to Washington. Now Oregon's I think they're a 17-point favorite. I think Now I seen games like this like last year, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl between Tulane and USC. So I don't know if y'all know, for a group of non-group of 5 teams, the highest ranked non-group of 5 gets a bid into a New Year's City Bowl game. So Liberty was the highest ranked non-group of 5 team, so they got the nod over SMU. Like I said, I think if Oregon doesn't take them serious, I think Liberty could get up. Now the difference between last year, USC defense was bad, so Tulane came back and won that game literally. And I was shocked. I thought USC had it, but Tulane came back and won it. They didn't take them serious. I think for some reason, non-group 5 teams just about play well in New Year's Six Bowl games against Power 5 schools. I've seen it almost every year. And Liberties are, like I said, they're undefeated for a reason, so I wouldn't take them lightly. But I'm still going to take Oregon because you got Bo Nix, who's going to be a first-round pick, Heisman Trophy finalist. And you got Bucky, Bucky, the running back. He's gonna be a
Bo ain't playing.
He is. He's been practicing. Yeah. I seen photos. In the trip to Arizona, he's been practicing, so yeah, he's gonna play. He even said he's gonna play.
Yeah, I just think Oregon is gonna be too big and strong for Liberty. Liberty might play with him a little bit, but I just think overall Oregon just gonna overpower.
And they got one of the best receivers in the nation, Jonathan Franklin. So I think
I'm going to say Oregon leads by 14.
Yeah, I probably say
21 points.
Oregon probably like 37-24. I go Oregon 37-24. I think it'll be a close game maybe for the most part, but then Oregon will start pulling away, and I think it's going to be a little too much for Liberty.
Yeah, I just think they're going to be too big and too strong for Liberty.
Yeah, I ain't got no score. I don't even know about no score, but I'm going to give Oregon.
Yeah, but like I said, I think it could be an interesting game. You know, I wish Oregon would have played like Georgia. That would really probably been real interesting. A rematch from last year in the regular season. But yeah, I'll take Oregon. Now next up we got 2 games, the semifinal games that we all look forward to. Like I said, the first up is the Rose Bowl semifinal game. You got number 1 Michigan 13-0 versus number 4 Alabama 12-1. We all stated, they technically Florida State probably should have deserved it, but technically they are really not one of the 4 best teams. They just kind of deserve it, I guess, out of pity, I guess, in a way of participation, if we want to put it that way. But this is a real good game. You got J.J. McCarthy, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. I know he's coming back, but if he was to come out, he would be a first-round pick in this upcoming year's NFL draft. But he's going to be a first-round pick in 25 draft, unless he plays badly. But I don't think so. You got Blake Corum, who's arguably one of the best running backs in the nation. Michigan has a very good offensive line. They got a pretty good defense. They got Jim Harbaugh, who's one of the best coaches in the country. But you also got Alabama, who, now I will say this, when I watched Bama in that spring game, when they had Jalen Milroe, I think they had a transfer from Notre Dame, forgot his name, and had a couple other quarterbacks, they all played bad in that spring game. And I was like, I don't see how Bama was going to compete for the SEC because they were all like bad. They had to get a transfer in to come in. And then after the Texas game, he benched Milroe. I didn't even think he played that badly. I think he should have played against USF, and Bama struggled against USF. I thought it was going to be a long season then. Mm-hmm. But he put Jalen Milroe back in. They ended up clicking. they kept winning games, and he got better. I think next year he's gonna be a dark horse. He's gonna start off the season next year as a Heisman Trophy candidate. I truly believe that. I didn't believe in him in the spring game earlier on in the season, but I think he's gonna be a dark horse, especially because he's at Alabama. He's gotten better. He could be maybe somebody like a Jalen Hurts out. So I think he got an arm. He's gonna get better as a pocket passer too. Also, so. But and they also, I mean, now the receivers, I don't know if I 100% trust them, but like I said, they stepped up against Auburn. You know, they should have lost that game, but that's all the story right there. Bama the defense is still good. They got Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's gonna be a first round pick. You got Dallas Turner, who's probably gonna be a first round pick. You got the freshman sensation Caleb Downs, who's already one of the best safeties in the country, even as a freshman at Bama. But yeah, this game is a toss up for me because it's gonna be the year that Michigan finally gets to the national championship game. But like I said, it ain't gonna be easy because Bama's run defense is really tough. They're gonna have to buckle up them trench straps and really be dedicated to running the football because Michigan's a run the ball first team, and it's gonna be a game that J.J. McCarthy is really going to prove that he's going to be a first round pick in the 2025 draft, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And this is a chance for Jalen Milroe to prove all the doubters wrong, that he's the guy at Bama.
I think the key to this game is Michigan defense. If they can stop Milroe, they can keep Milroe contained. I look for them to be. I'm going to say it's going to be a low scoring game. This is my prediction that Michigan will pull it out 13-10.
That's an ugly game, but that would be pretty good.
I could be wrong, could be a high scoring game, but I don't see that with.
I said like, I'm going to prediction minute, but you can go ahead.
I'm rolling with Michigan. They good all around. Chrome defense, they good all around. You know, Bama, Miro, he can't do it by himself. He'll have to put up about 100 and something on the ground and 100 and something there. You know, the receivers ain't been consistent.
I mean, the only one that's been pretty good is Isaiah Bond. He's been good.
So I haven't seen no consistent. Yes, they've been winning, but I really ain't seen no consistency with Alabama. Yes, and it's sad for me to say that being SEC, but gotta keep it real. You know, Michigan been good all over, offensive, defensive, run, pass.
I'm gonna go with a medium score game. I think I'm gonna go 26 to 21 Michigan, slightly over Alabama. I think Michigan finally gets it done. I think Harbaugh finally, gets to the national championship game. Like I said, now what's the problem if Alabama wins? No. Like I said, a confidence level, I'm probably like a 5. Like I'm confident in this pick. Like, cause I don't know what Michigan are gonna get. They're gonna get the one that lost to TCU in the semifinal game last year. I mean, the Michigan has been, even though their schedule it wasn't really good at all, playing Hawaii and.
Yeah, they had a rather easy schedule,
but is Michigan going? Like I said, they're gonna show up. I think you got to definitely run the ball regardless of what happened with Blake Corum. They got some pretty good receivers, and like I said, as long as J.J. McCarthy don't turn the ball over, he's not a turnover machine. But if he doesn't turn the ball, I think they're gonna be fine.
I feel like they can get their offense rolling. That they in Alabama might have their hands full. I think the defense is gonna do the job.
So yeah, we're all going to Michigan to advance to the national championship game. And then we got the other semifinal game, the Sugar Bowl, playoff semifinal. Number 2 Washington 13-0 versus number 3 Texas 12-1. Who you got? Who you like?
I don't know. This game is one of those games that I see it being a shootout. It's one of the games that I look to be the score will be in the 40s. The prediction on this, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think Washington got. I know their passing is good. They got also got a running back that's pretty good. If they can hit Texas with that 1-2 punch, Penix and the running back, I think they'll probably edge Texas. I'm gonna say 45-41.
Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
Okay.
I'm going to Washington. It's not going to be close. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a 15 plus point spread. I just feel if, Penix is going to show up.
I looked at, but Washington's defense hasn't been really that good either.
They're going to show up.
I just don't see how they're gonna guard AD Mitchell, Xavier Worthy. I just don't.
They're going to show up. Show up.
I like Michael Penix Jr. If I had to choose quarterbacks, I'll go Michael Penix Jr. I think he's the better quarterback. He's gonna be a first round pick in next year's draft. But it's not about the best quarterback; it's about the best overall team. Quinn Ewers, he's probably likely gonna be a first round pick in 25 draft. I think they got the run game. They got the better receiver. Well, I won't say completely receivers because Washington got 3 guys who I think all got 1,000 yards. So they got a really good offense, but I just don't completely trust their defense at all. So I'm gonna have to go Texas slightly, 37-32 over Washington to advance to the national championship game against Michigan.
They're going to show up.
Like I said, now at the beginning of this season, I was like, I'm not going to, a lot of people say they're not going to jump on the Texas bandwagon, say Texas is back. I waited. I was like, all right, I'm going to wait until they play Bama. I'm going to wait till they're going to have to get to the Big 12 championship game and make it to the playoff. They did all 3 of those things. So I think they can say they're finally back. I know you said you're not sure about them going to the SEC, but they beat the best team. They just won the SEC championship game. They literally did it. And then, like I said, the year before that, they had Bryce. Bama had a better team last year.
You can't.
They had Bryce.
They beat a fresh team in the beginning of the season. You ain't beat no improving Bama.
That's
playoff team. Yeah, they still a lot, but still.
No, that's still a regular season. But if that's the case, you gotta take people make a schedule. All right, let's not put 2 power teams against each other early in the season. Let's wait to put Texas and Bama. Cause really, once round what I think it's week 4. Cause for most Power 5 schools, you play like maybe like a group of 5 team or FCS team, really FCS teams. You see like a Middle Tennessee State playing Arkansas. So they start that off. So maybe like I said, like next year Michigan and Texas play each other. I think week 2. So if Michigan beats Texas, when Texas ends up just running the table and going undefeated in the SEC, they're gonna say. And Michigan makes the playoff, they be like, no, that didn't count because Michigan and Texas played each other early in the season. Like, that's still a game. They beat them
But this
head to head.
is what they do. Games like that, they are going to schedule at the beginning of the season. Reason being, okay, they say Texas, Alabama. Okay, one of them lose. Okay, they still got the whole season to win. So their chances will be better versus them playing later in the season than earlier in the season. That's why they schedule those games like that.
Exactly.
I mean,
and plus like that's still at Alabama. I don't understand your argument if it was a neutral site game like LSU and Florida State. Like I said, Texas didn't beat. And then like I said, the year prior to that, they had Bryce Young, they had Jahmyr Gibbs, and they almost beat Bama with a backup quarterback. That shows you how good Texas is if they almost beat Bama with a backup quarterback.
But here's my thing overall: if you say your team is good, and that hey, let's get a game where it be the beginning of the season or the end of the season. Big bank take over. We want the best.
Like it's better.
Hey, we could beat you at the beginning of the season. We can beat you at the end of the season.
I feel like it's better at the beginning or the middle because once you get into the season, those should be conference games. You should be playing teams in your conference. Like I know how Bama their last 2 games they played Chattanooga then Auburn. That should be SEC games. You should not play no Chattanooga. That should be over by week 2. So
and I know
that's why I think But that's Texas and Bama. That's fine to have it early in the season because that's well, even though now
all
it'll
those
be
games should be conference games at the end. Like you right, Chattanooga and all them. They after they 10-0, and then just say LSU 9 and whatever. And then they got Chattanooga, and now they got an easy game at the end. You know they're gonna make it there. Like
even though Auburn lost to New Mexico.
okay, they have Auburn at the last game. You know the rivalry game.
Yeah. So like if that's the case, like if you're gonna play a non-conference game, play somebody more, FBS. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's what the people on ESPN talking about. Like that why punish if they would put Georgia and Alabama in over Texas?
Yeah.
Why punish Texas for an early season game? They went out and beat them. Like even though Bama is better, I still think if it's Texas and Bama, I would still take Texas. I think they're better. Got the better quarterback. They beat them straight up.
I don't think they played Bama again. They will beat them.
So, but
They play Bama again, they will not beat Bama.
I don't know. I disagree. I think they will beat Bama again.
And not beat Bama.
I don't know, but
I'm gonna keep receipts. You're not whooping Nick Saban twice in the same year.
It'll be hard to do.
Yeah, but I mean we'll see. But now the national championship game, be on Monday. I think that's January 6th.
January 8th.
I think so it'll be the following week because this is January 1st. So yeah, January 8th. So our predictions: if it's Michigan and Texas, who y'all taking?
I'm taking Michigan, but I ain't gonna be Texas. It'll be Michigan.
It'll
It'll be Michigan, Washington.
If it's Michigan, Washington, who you taking?
I'm taking Michigan, but hell, it's gonna be close. It'll be a 10-point spread. Y'all, I'm telling you, yes. Washington defense ain't up there, but that boy Penix is special. The boy's special. He's a baby of the ball. So he's gonna get about 150 on the ground. He putting the team on his back. That's how they're gonna beat Texas.
What do you got?
I think
it's Michigan and Texas.
If it's Michigan and Texas, I don't know. I'm
going Texas. Even though these teams do play each other in the regular season next year, but it'll be at Michigan. I think Texas will. I think they're a little bit more physical.
You sound like a Texas bandwagon.
I'm not a Texas bandwagon. I'm West Virginia. So, but I'm just calling what I see. Like I said, I waited. I watched the games. I didn't jump on no party parade like Texas is back. Oh, Texas is back. The recruiting class. They got Arch Manning, who's gonna be the successor after Quentin Ewers is gone, if he doesn't transfer. But they got A.D. Mitchell transfer from Georgia. They got Xavier Worthy. I said nope. Even when Texas lost to Oklahoma, I was like, see, that's what Texas does. Like even last year, they was good up until because they almost beat Bama. They was winning and then they fell off. So I was like,
but a game like that, it's a big rivalry. It could go either way. Like if you good or bad. Like
so, now like I said, I'll go. So I'm going Texas slightly over Michigan by at least 10 points. Now, if it's your prediction, like a Michigan and Washington, I'm going Michigan.
I would take Washington.
I will go Michigan. I think Michigan's just more physical.
Yeah, they're more physical than
Washington.
By 10.
Now, really, I ain't gonna lie, I would love it to be Bama and Texas because if it's a rematch, I think that's literally gonna be ratings. It's gonna be a very good game, and I'll still take Texas in a rematch with Bama.
No.
Bama. But if
you put
to be honest, if you put money politics in it, it might be Alabama and Texas. So,
yeah, it's
something to think about.
But I'm just saying, you still take Texas, they ain't gonna show up. When you put Bama in a playoff in a national championship, they show up.
I don't know.
I
seen a couple times.
The dogs show up.
I seen a couple times. Bama didn't show up. I remember when Trevor Lawrence, when he was a freshman, they beat the dogs out of Bama. They beat them bad.
Clemson had that good team. They brought dogs too. That's why I say you gotta show
They had
up
a
with some
freshman
dogs,
at
not no puppy.
They had a freshman at quarterback.
Hey, back when you started this podcast, I said Texas and Oklahoma, the SEC is some dogs. In order to be a dog, you gotta be a dog.
Well, that's what Texas did. They beat the biggest dog. They walked in and beat the biggest dog in there.
Nah.
Bullets get bullied.
Clemson has some dog.
They literally came in and
When they won them back, dog.
they walked in Bama's trap and beat Bama. Literally, like
Jameis Winston and company, Florida State had some dog. 2019 LSU, we had some dog.
yeah, it was stacked on a whole bunch of first round picks.
Okay, with dogs, you gotta have dog in the SEC. You come down there with that goddamn puppy child.
The ACC team though.
I'm saying the roster to beat an SEC team, you gotta have an SEC.
That's
you
what Texas got.
Well, I'm saying your roster gotta have some dogs on. If you're in SEC, you gotta have some dogs.
I guarantee you, all of them players on Texas roster had an offer from Bama.
Man, you got some dogs. That's what I'm saying. They better show up. Keyword, show up. They don't show up, I promise you, I'm coming back. You ain't gotta ask me to be on your podcast.
I agree with you.
I'm coming back, request to be on the podcast and say the boy didn't show up.
I give it to you as far as Michael Penix Jr., better quarterback. They got the maybe slightly better offense because the receivers, but Texas got some really good receivers also. So I agree as a shootout, but if it's a one stop, if one defense got to make a stop, I trust Texas. They got a really good defensive line.
Yeah, I see this game being a shootout, man.
Really good defensive line.
I'll do this until you show
powered,
me.
like,
You prove to me, Texas, you deserve. I'm gonna give you your credit due. Trust me, Bama got the same criticism that you get now. And now I'm giving Bama their gratitude.
I mean, we'll see. I definitely look forward to it. All these New Year's Super Bowl games. Like I enjoyed all 6 of them, even the ones like that are not the semifinal games. Every year they rotate.
Yeah.
Because last year it was the Fiesta Bowl and the who did Georgia play? Oh yeah, in the Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl.
Yeah, Peach Bowl because I was out New Year's, but like I said, I definitely look forward to this playoff. I definitely look forward to next year.
Yeah.
A 12-team
12
format.
yeah.
I'll wait to make my predictions for that because I got to see how spring ball, how the transfer portal finishes out, how the recruiting class finishes out, who's leaving, who's staying.
West Virginia gonna make it.
Nah, I ain't gonna go that far. Now we gonna compete for. We won yesterday. Like I said, a lot of teams picked West Virginia to finish last in the Big 12. Guess what we did? Won 9 games. Even though North Carolina didn't have Drake May out there because he optioned out, but they still won 9 games. Now I do expect us to compete for the Big 12 championship next year, especially with Oklahoma and Texas leaving. Even though Utah's joining, Arizona State, but I still. Still Oklahoma State. So I think probably the favorite next year probably will be maybe Oklahoma State might be favored because they got Ollie Gordon coming back. They might be favored, but I don't know how Deion, like I said, depending on how he keeps recruiting with Shador and them, I like their chances to compete.
They just need to get a line, offensive line.
They did get a number 1 offensive lineman in the 24 class from IMG. So
That ain't enough.
They got blown off the field this year.
Yeah, LSU gonna be in the playoff. 12 teams, shoot.
I don't know. I like Ole Miss chances. I don't know. I don't know.
If it was 12 teams this year,
If they couldn't get in with, if it was 12 team maybe, but Jaden Daniels gonna be gone, so and then y'all defense was bad.
But you got red shirt freshmen, it's nice.
But that defense was terrible. It was bad.
But our draft class is nice. We're in-state. We're coming back.
I like Bama, Georgia, maybe Georgia, depending on because they got a hard schedule. If I just pick the 3 teams that possibly come out the SEC, of course, Texas, maybe Bama, Ole Miss.
But Georgia they do good recruiting, so
Miro coming back.
They'll be back in the mix.
He announced he's coming back,
so Miro coming back. They're gonna be Bama and Ole Miss.
I put it to
And
him
LSU.
because Quinn Ewers coming back, so yeah.
LSU
in Texas.
and possibly Texas. They got show me. You top 14.
If LSU fixes that defense, maybe, but I just And plus,
Y'all,
I think Malik.
we're coming back to the next podcast, and he gonna apologize to LSU. We here.
We'll see, but I definitely look forward to next season. Like I said again, this is our predictions for the New Year's Six bowl games. Our thoughts on this past season. Like I said, I hope y'all enjoy the New Year's Six bowl games and the semifinal games. You know, comment who you got, who you want, why. Like I said, I got Texas winning it all. I think this is the year to solidify them being back and then transitioning to the SEC. So I'm going Texas. I appreciate both of y'all coming on the podcast. Like I said, I enjoy, even if I know you say you don't not too much a college football guy, you're more NFL.
Yep.
So maybe on next podcast we definitely talk some NFL football because the playoffs are coming up.
Oh yes.
So I know my team suck, and so does yours.
Still Raider Nation though, still representing.
We suck too.
All day long.
I'm happy Brandon Staley's going, so that's my Super Bowl. He's fired, so at this point I kind of don't care what happens, how many games the Chargers lose, as long as he's going. But again, like I said, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely will have you on soon. But yeah, like I said, I definitely enjoyed this episode. Talking with you. I definitely appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you coming back, even though you live here, it's your house, so yeah, I see you every day.
Yeah.
I live here too. They just don't know it. Free rent.
I appreciate each and every one of y'all watching. This has been Cameron Lindsay, the host of Cameron Sports Podcast, with my father Michael Gavin and our cousin Ant. And we'll catch y'all next time.